Welcome back to another episode of Southpaw Autoworks, where repairing automotive tasks with one hand is our specialty, not a sideline. In this video, we're covering all the steps to quickly and easily reseal the Honda power steering pump. The reseal kits are quite simple and they're very affordable. As you can see, there are not a whole lot of seals to replace. This pump can be repaired with basic hand tools. A little attention to detail goes a long way. This video will cover all those important little details that are easily overlooked during disassembly. Furthermore, the principles revealed in this video can be used to tackle other power steering pump jobs. Let's jump in. Let's begin by removing the inlet port hose bib. Remove the 10mm bolt, the hose bib, and the O-ring. Now let's remove the sub valve. The sub valve is held in place by a wire retainer. There's two hooks on this wire retainer. Simply rotate these hooks in the bore and position these hooks over the open space in the bore. By positioning it this way, you can now get needle nose pliers around one of the hooks and simply pull it from the bore. With the retainer out of the way, simply use needle nose pliers to grab the top of the sub valve and work it out of the bore. The flow control valve is housed underneath this plate. Remove the 10mm bolts. This cover is under slight spring tension. With the bolts and cover out of the way, remove the spring and remove the valve. And also remove the two O-rings. We're now ready to open up this pump and see what's inside. Prior to removing this cover, it's always a good idea to index a cover like this with the rest of the pump housing. This can easily be achieved with a paint pen, center punch, or even a sharp screwdriver. Taking this extra step will eliminate some guesswork when you're going back together with this pump. Remove the four 12mm bolts. This cover is under spring tension. When removing the cover, you may notice two dowel pins attached to the cover. These dowel pins are different in length and they're also different in thickness. Keep them in order. Now this is the part where we get really excited. We've got the pump cover off. We can see all the components in there. We take the pump body, we flip it upside down over the bench, dumping all of our pump components all over the bench. And then at some point during cleaning or reassembly, we realize that, oh, hey, look at this one part here. This rotor, for example, has one dot stamped into one side of it. And on the flip side of this rotor, there's two dots stamped on here. Oh, and wait, the cam ring has the same situation going on. Which way were these when they came out? This power steering pump features a vane style pump with a total of 10 vanes. A distant glance would lead us to believe that both these edges here and here are the exact same, when in fact they're not. A closer examination reveals that this edge here has squared off corners on it, while the other side of the pump vane has a rounded or domed edge to it. This domed edge must ride against the cam ring. We also need to inspect the broad side of the vane. This is the edge that rides against the rotor. Now this side of the vane shows a witness mark, like so, whereas the other side of the vane has different witness marks or no witness marks at all. In these next few steps, I'm going to remove the pump vanes, the pump rotor, and the cam ring, all while paying close attention to the orientation of each of these parts prior to removing them. The reason I bring this up, just because this is how it is for this specific pump, doesn't mean it's going to be the case for yours, whether it's a Honda, and of course you could be working on something else outside the Honda realm. At any rate, the key takeaway to all this is to move slow, remove one part at a time, pay close attention to all the indicators, whether it's a dot or a witness mark, whatever it is. Write notes, take pictures. Doing all this is going to make reassembly that much easier. So just save yourself the headache, just pay close attention, and now you know what to look for. So here we go. The easiest way to keep track of the orientation of the vanes is to always remove the vanes while they are at the 12 o'clock position on the rotor. With the pump vanes out of the way, we're now ready to tackle the cam ring. A closer look at the cam ring reveals that there's two dots stamped into it. So now back to my notes, I'm going to write cam ring, and I'm going to write two dots facing up, and then pull the ring. If the dowel pins are still in place, remove them now. With our cam ring removed, we can now inspect the backside of it. Sure enough, there's one dot stamped into the backside of it. The best part of all this is any future confusion has now been avoided thanks to our careful inspection and our good note-taking. Last but not least is the pump rotor. Let's take a quick look at it, identify any dots it has on it, which there's two, make note of them, and pull the rotor. The next item to be removed is a spring-loaded plate. You may find that this plate does not want to come out of the bore very easily. I have found that the plate, instead of being square in the bore because of the spring underneath it, instead of being square in the bore, they wind up getting cocked sideways, and now they get jammed in the bore and they won't come up and out like they should. So what I try to do is find that high spot and push down on it with my thumb to try to square that plate up, and it'll come up and out. Remove the 19mm nut from the drive shaft pulley. It's important to note that this nut is reverse thread, so righty-tighty, lefty-loosey will not work here. You can quickly and easily remove the fastener with an impact gun. If air tools are not an option, I recommend that you place the pump cover back on the pump body and gently secure the pump in a vise. A screwdriver can then be used to keep the pulley from moving by wedging the screwdriver between the spokes on the pulley and the power steering pump body. With the pulley out of the way, we now have access to a snap ring. Remove the snap ring. Heads up, the bearing in this video is damaged. Normally you wouldn't be able to see the ball bearings, the bearing cage, or any internals of this bearing. Unfortunately, it was damaged during a prior disassembly. It's now time to press the drive shaft out of the pump housing. The shaft is pressed from the pump cover side out towards the pump pulley. Removing this shaft can be accomplished with the use of an arbor press, a hydraulic press, a bench vise, and any other means. I know it's real tempting to take a hammer to the shaft and just try to hammer it right out of the pump housing. It's not a good idea. The arbor press is the fastest and the easiest way to accomplish this task. Here's the drive shaft. This bearing is pressed to the shaft. This washer lives between the bearing and the pump housing. This is a brass punch. It's made of a soft metal. It takes all of the abuse while minimizing, if not preventing, damage to the part that you're working on. With the shaft out of the way, we now have access to the back side of the shaft seal located in the pump housing. Use a screwdriver or some other suitable tool to drive that seal out, like so. We now have the entire unit completely disassembled. This is the best time to get everything cleaned up. When it comes to pumps, whether they're power steering pumps, automatic transmission pumps, etc., cleanliness is key. So make sure you keep everything clean. There you have it. How to disassemble a power steering pump. This is part 1 of a 2-part series. The specimen in this video was out of a 97 Honda Accord. However, if you use the skills that you learned in this video, you should be able to tackle just about any power steering pump. If you're looking for the parts and tools featured in this video, check the resources section in the video description below. If you haven't done so already, you can join this community by subscribing, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to stay informed. Above everything else, guys, you now know how to do it. Now it's up to you to begin the journey. And guys, if a Southpaw can do it, surely you can do it.